You're welcome to follow me. But watch your step.
That was a bad joke, sorry.
The only joke that's being made here, Matt, is that we don't already have a massive AAA Daredevil game to fully play through. But regardless, welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very intriguing Marvel games related video. But before we dive into the topic of this video, I did want to apologize to all you for being gone for nearly 2 whole weeks. Considering that I did enjoy a brief time off from YouTube by simply enjoying Thanksgiving break, but the real fact of the matter is that there's barely any major Marvel games news to go and talk about. Even though Marvel's Avengers recently added Winter Soldier as a brand new playable character in game, which I did go and live stream, which you can check out in case you missed it, and Marvel's Midnight Suns does indeed release this Friday, the truth of the situation is that we're all desperately waiting for any news to occur for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And while I am personally excited for other Marvel games coming up like Marvel's Wolverine, Motive's Iron Man game, and even the Skydance New Media Captain America and Black Panther game, the majority of those titles will likely release way farther in the future. But for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, it does in fact launch next year. And with this year of 2022 almost over, with no massive PlayStation showcase in sight, that likely means that we won't hear more about the game until sometime next year in 2023. Still, I have no doubt that whenever we do see more of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 next, it's totally going to blow all of our expectations out of the water. But for today's video, we're going to be discussing a recurring topic that has popped up rather frequently from none other than Troy Baker, who, if you somehow don't know, is an extremely talented and rather popular voice actor within the video game industry. And while Troy himself has been featured in a seemingly infinite amount of video games over the past couple decades, there has indeed been one video game project that Troy Baker has been desperate to kick off the ground for quite some time. And thanks to a recent article that was written by comicbook.com, we did receive even more insight from Troy as to what exactly he's attempting to bring to life when it comes to this one specific video game and the character that is involved with it, which, as you can probably tell at this point, is none other than Matt Murdock himself, the man without fear, aka Daredevil. In my opinion, we are long overdue for a AAA standalone Daredevil game, and if there's any one actor out there who can bring the character of Daredevil to life within a video game format, I definitely think that Troy Baker is the one to do so. So as this was originally posted by comicbook.com on Twitter, they go on to state that the Last of Us actor Troy Baker has continued to make it known that he wants to star in or even direct a Daredevil video game, where Troy Baker, who is the actor that is likely most synonymous with playing the role of Joel in PlayStation's The Last of Us series, has continued to voice his desire for Marvel to create a video game based on the character Daredevil. In recent years, Baker has started to express that he not only wants a Daredevil game to come about, but he also wants to portray the title's central protagonist. And while it remains to be seen if this ever happens, Baker has now shed more light on why he's so passionate about this idea. And given everything that Troy Baker goes on to say within this article, I find his passion for this game and this character absolutely incredible. So to continue, speaking at Milan Games Week, Baker talked openly about Daredevil and why he thinks the Marvel character would work so well in a video game. Outside of simply being a Daredevil fanatic, Baker said that he thinks the character would be interesting to play given that he's blind. Additionally, Baker said he'd be open to directing the game as well as outside of simply starring in it. And as Troy Baker himself goes on to say, I've said this a lot. I am a huge Daredevil fan. What Charlie Cox did for the show was amazing, and I had the opportunity to talk to him about it, and I told him what his performance of Daredevil meant. I want to either play Matt Murdock in a game, or I want to direct the game. And speaking more about what it would take to actually take on the role of Matt Murdock, Baker said the character would come with a number of challenges that he would love to tackle. Whereas Troy goes on to highlight is that the reason why we play games is because the character can do something that I can't. But what does that game look like when I can do something that the character can't? That is what really intrigues me about making that game. And it would be a big challenge for me as an actor to be able to play someone who was not cited. Now, to clarify, this isn't confirming in any way that there is indeed a Daredevil game currently in development, but this is simply Troy Baker's passion being shared about why he is so devoted to making this game a reality. And I have to 100,000% agree with everything that Troy Baker is saying here. The character of Matt Murdock is easily one of the most underutilized characters when it comes to incorporating him within a video game format. We've obviously seen Matt Murdock appear as a side character in some of the other Marvel games that we have received in the past, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and even Marvel Nemesis, but for whatever reason, we haven't had the opportunity yet to fully dive into a completely Daredevil devoted game. But of course, the question then becomes is, besides Troy Baker wanting to play the main character of Matt Murdock himself, who would actually end up developing this supposed Daredevil game? And before any of you start spamming Insomniac Games in the comments, just know that there are indeed other game developers out there that are more than willing to work on a AAA Marvel game. Plus, Insomniac already has their hands full with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine. And while I'm sure that they would easily knock a Daredevil game out of the park, I do think that another developer who is equally as passionate about the character of Daredevil as Troy Baker is, would surely do their best to get the job done. Just like how I believe that Insomniac Games is the perfect developer to handle a character like Spider-Man, as well as how I also believe that Remedy Games is the perfect studio to handle a AAA Doctor Strange game, surprisingly, I'm not entirely sure who exactly would make the best choice on making a AAA Daredevil game. If this supposed Daredevil game were to be made by a first-party developer underneath the PlayStation banner, then I definitely think a group like Sucker Punch would be able to deliver a pretty phenomenal game, especially considering that they already have a great background within superhero games with their Infamous franchise. But nonetheless, having the opportunity to dive into a completely dedicated Daredevil narrative, which would also explore the duality that Matt Murdock faces as a lawyer by day and a vigilante by night, would easily be a dream-fulfilling experience for any hardcore Daredevil fan. Compared to the more superpowered fueled Marvel games that we've already received in recent years, like the web-swinging action in the Insomniac Spider-Man games, or even the crazy intergalactic journey that we did receive within Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Daredevil in comparison would be a much more grounded character. And in fact, it would likely end up feeling a bit more similar to the realistic nature of all the Batman Arkham games. But taking things a step further within gameplay by using Daredevil's radar sense and also making him feel much more acrobatic in comparison to a character like Batman would certainly be a very interesting challenge for a developer to tackle. But seeing how beyond passionate Troy Baker is for a character like Daredevil in general, it definitely seems like he already has a vision in place as to how exactly he would want the Daredevil game to be made. And if by some miracle that one day we do end up seeing Troy Baker's vision of a Daredevil game come to life, then that is without a doubt going to be one hell of a day to remember. And with all that said, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think of Troy Baker's passion towards making a Daredevil game, and would you be in favor of him acting as the main role of Matt Murdock, and even possibly going as far as to direct the game as a whole? Given all the incredible superhero games from Marvel that we do have to look forward to in the coming years with Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Wolverine, Marvel's Iron Man, Marvel's Captain America and Black Panther, and likely many, many more, I would be shocked that at one point we do not receive any type of AAA standalone Daredevil game. And in my opinion, it's merely a matter of when, not if. But until next time, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Games videos like this in the future, stay merry Marvelites, and peace out.